Financial management then is a continuous process, and I like this, of planning through budgets and forecasts. These are very big, heavy words. Controlling, monitoring, and reporting of the financial aspects of an organization. So we are basically looking at the process of planning through budgets and forecasts, controlling, monitoring, and reporting of the financial aspects of an organization. And if that be the case, then I actually thought, should we do a lot of crunching of numbers in this presentation? And I said no, because if we start, we will not finish. But I think it is important at some point, maybe to consider now the elements of crunching numbers as part of the evidential presentation of how to do some of these budgets and some of these considerations. There are valuable lessons from this training that we can be able to present. Number one, I would want you to appreciate the full benefits of proper financial management for your organization. By the way, there are benefits that you derive if you do proper financial management for your organization. Sometimes you look at the way we do things and you wonder, don't we know that there is tomorrow? Okay, now we have been talking about COVID-19 pandemic, whatever. This is not the first pandemic. It will not, I hate to announce this to you, it will not be the last pandemic. Then number two, we want you to know the principles of financial management, because if you know the principles, then chances are you will do the right thing. So once you know the principles, then you will do it and implement it for your organization, even for your church or even the mosque or the temple, if that be the case. And I think it is necessary that you understand these principles as well. Number three, appreciate the tools of financial management. I think I will do myself a lot of disservice if I will not have exposed you to the kind of tools that actually will be able to help you in financial management. Lastly, we will look at the components of financial management. And once we do these four things, I think we are game. If you implement them, if you run them, then chances are you will be in very good financial shape as we continue. So let's look at the benefits. Why it is important for you and your organization to have proper financial management and ensure you are there to all the rules and principles needed in financial management. Now, these benefits are good because you will begin enjoying them from the beginning, from the first time that you actually set yourself to do proper financial management. Now, it will help your leadership team. I want to believe that in your organization, you are not the only one. Even if you are a church and you are the senior pastor or you are the bishop of that church, you are not the only leader. You have a leadership team that leads the organization with you. If you have a faith-based organization or even an NGO or even a business, by the way, then you have a leadership team, a management team. And this financial management will help your team to be effective and efficient stewards of the resources God has entrusted to your care. Then number two, communicate financial needs. Everybody has needs, everybody, myself included. Everybody has needs, and certainly your organization has needs. And that need, by the way, you need to communicate to somebody. You need to communicate to maybe donors, you need to communicate to stakeholders or shareholders, you need to communicate to members, you need to communicate to the congregation, you need to communicate to somebody. So when you do proper financial management, you are able to articulate and communicate those needs and report back to the relevant person, including governments, etc. Number three benefit is that it will help the organization to prepare for long-term sustainability. The NGO world, certainly including the faith-based organization, has suffered a lot because the donor funds have continued to go down. And when the donor funds are going down, then it is expedient that you look at the sustainability aspect. You don't want to be donor dependent by 100%. If you are donor dependent, maybe it is better to be 30%, 40%, 50%. Then you need to be able to have put in place sustainability measures to make sure that your organization can actually sustain itself even if you don't get support from outside. Now, the only way you can help the organization to prepare for long term is if you are prudent in your financial management. So this has great benefits as you seek for ways and means of gradually increasing your self-generated funds so that you can be able to manage yourself. Now, I want to look at the 8 principles of financial management. Now, why am I discussing this thing, by the way, like this? I'm discussing it in the hope that God will touch you to do the right thing and to do proper financial management. Number 1 is custodianship. Okay? Now, the responsibility of governance, and by governance we mean the entire management of the resources of your organization. If it is a church, if it is a mosque, if it is a temple, if it is a faith-based, not-for-profit organization, the responsibility of governance is entrusted to the board, which could either be the board of deacons, the board of trustees, the board of management, and they act through management. So if you want to succeed with financial management for your organization, this custodianship principle needs to be in place. In other words, even if you have a small organization or a small church or a small institution, whatever it is, do the right thing. Have a board of deacons, a board of trustees, a board of management who will be in charge of providing direction and making policies for your organization. Number 2 is accountability. Every organization must be accountable to someone. Okay? The number 3, integrity. These are very tired words in this country. Everybody talks about integrity. In fact, it appears in every core value of most organizations, and it is the one thing that misses the most. It appears the most, it is talked about the most, but it is not there. It misses the most. It's a very oxymoron. Okay. So the 4th principle, and I'm hoping that these things are a blessing to you as they are to me, is transparency, very closely related. Systems must be established whereby all financial information is recorded accurately and presented clearly. Now, let's look at the tools. Wow, we look at the tools of financial management. What will you use? Okay, and I love this. What will you use? Sometimes you want, when you leave this training, what is this one thing that you are going to do when you leave this training? What is this one thing that you are going to change? Okay, what is this one thing that you are appreciating and you want to put in place? Now, those responsible for managing organizations have a number of management tools. Number 1 is planning. Looking ahead to prepare as well as possible for the future, considering several possible alternatives and their choices and decisions that you need to be able to make. And planning must always precede the doing. The number 2, organizing. Okay. And the resources of the organization, we're talking about staff, we're talking about vehicles, we're talking about property, we're talking about money, and every other resource must be coordinated to ensure timely implementation of plans is carried out. And now we look at the last one, components of financial management. This is one or more active components. What are these components and how can we engage with the components? The process, very important, ladies and gentlemen, of reviewing the long-term, and I want you to imagine that you have your long-term plans. The process of reviewing the long-term or strategic financial picture of the organization in line with the vision and mission, resources available, and planned activities is what we are generally referring to as financial planning. The number 2 component that is very closely associated with the financial planning is budgeting. Okay, and I've told you it is one of the most critical tool. It is actually the commonest. Now, once a financial plan is generated, which corresponds to the annual operational plan and is realistic, a short-term financial projection is then required. This estimate of cost of programs and activities and income is referred to as a budget. Okay. Then number 3, cash flow management, which again is a very important. Cash flow is like the oxygen of organization. Cash flow. This cash flow thing is a very critical thing because it is what helps you to know how much money is coming in, at what rate, and the frequency of money going out and at what rate. So when you talk about cash flow management, it is so necessary because cash flow forecast statements are statements that project only those activities or expenses and income that involves the movement of cash. So cash flow is everything. Whatever monies you have, it is important you manage it appropriately.